Are you ready to become a hero?
Hank Pym, a scientist who created a shrinking suit with incredible power, recruits former thief Scott Lang for a heist to prevent his technology from falling into the wrong hands.
The good.
One of the things that needed to be done right and was the cinematography of this movie. Given the capabilities of Ant-Man as a superhero, we get to see the world we live in on a much larger scale. Think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but a lot more intense. The actors in this movie do a pretty good job of portraying the characters they're given. And the characters themselves give a pretty good emotional picture of the things going on around them, as well as showcase clear motivations. Some of these elements are kinda cliche, but they do their job well for telling this story. Most of you are probably familiar enough with the Marvel Studios sense of humor. There's much of that here as well, but I also think there's plenty of humor in this movie that makes it stand apart from some of the other Marvel movies. While I won't say it's quite out there enough to be, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's out there enough to differentiate itself. This movie hardly ever passes up the opportunity to make a joke about how intense and amazing the action is on Ant-Man's level, in contrast to how insignificant and minimal the effect seems to be on a normal level of view. When some of you watch this movie, you may find it to be repetitive. Myself, I never got tired of them. Being a Marvel Studios movie, some Avengers references are bound to pop up now and then. The plot makes good use of the Avengers without turning this movie into a crossover, which is good because we're introducing a new hero and Ant-Man should be the focus.
The iffy.
This is a relatively minor thing to pick at, but Evangeline Lilly, yet again, has been cast in a major franchise movie and is playing a character that did not exist in the source material. Thankfully, it doesn't look like she's part of any weird love triangles this time. Some of this movie's jokes feel a little inappropriately timed and can kill whatever moment is happening. That being said, sometimes it is part of the joke, and sometimes it is pretty funny. That being said, sometimes these moments can feel off. Stay all the way to the end of the credits during this movie because there are 2 credit teasers, one in the middle of the credits and one after the credits are over. Marvel, a couple months ago, you left Avengers 2 without an end credit scene, and you only gave us a mid-credit scene, and now you're on Ant-Man, and you're going back to giving us both that one and that one. Pick a system and stick with it, please. I didn't watch this movie in 3D, but because of the Little Man Big World cinematography and some of the action scenes that take place in it, it might be worth a few extra bucks to watch this one in 3D.
The bad.
The villain of this movie is not interesting. The most I will say about it is that think of a road that Marvel has already taken before in one of their movies, and then just kind of do the opposite of that. There are a couple important points in the story that are offset by some very anticlimactic moments. And don't think about the jokes I was talking about earlier in this video. These moments are not meant for comedy.
The verdict?
I think a lot of general viewers can agree that this is probably one of the cheesiest concepts that Marvel has ever decided to put to film. But I have to say that it panned out well. At this point, I'm just trusting Marvel Studios to give me a good experience because so far they've never let me down. This is Detective Steve, and if any of your friends ask you why you think Ant-Man is going to be a good movie, just tell them, I know a guy.